Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars, welcome to another PlayStation 5 review. Today's review is for Sifu, so it's also available on the PlayStation 4. Now, Sifu comes to us from Slowclap, who brought us Absolver a few years ago, and it's a game I have in my library, Absolver, and I did put quite a bit of time into that when it came out. And that game in itself was like the blueprint for this one in many ways. It was a martial arts game. And with Sifu, what we get here is like a martial arts like cinematic experience with a lot of really cool ideas going on in it. Now, Sifu is a game that I've been really looking forward to for quite a while now. I've had it on pre-order for a while because I knew it was a game I was going to enjoy. And then when the reviews came up from all the big sites a couple of days ago, it only got me more excited and, if I'm honest, a little bit concerned too, because everyone was saying, oh, the game's great, it's fantastic. However, it's really tough too at the same time. And, you know, if you're not patient, etc., then you're probably not going to get on with this game. And I was like, oh no, I was kind of hoping this was going to be like a pick up and play type martial arts cinematic movie beat 'em up experience. That you can just kind of really just casually play. And in actual fact, it isn't really like that. And I have to say, that doesn't bother me at all. I'm not disappointed by that. So if any of you who have been watching the reviews recently from all these big outlets who've been saying these things and it's kind of put you off a little bit because they're saying it's got a really steep learning curve, it does have a really steep learning curve. But the gameplay and the combat and the martial arts is so good and addictive, it's not going to bother you that much. Now with Sifu, there are 5 levels to play through, and there is a story, and I don't want to put much emphasis on the story here. I always like you guys to find out the story yourself, but it's quite a basic like revenge story that you see quite a lot in like martial arts films and things. You're a young boy, you see your family members get murdered, and you grow up wanting to take revenge on those that were involved. And there are 5 key people that were involved, hence why there's 5 levels. At the end of each level, there is a boss for you to fight, and that boss was directly involved in the death of your family. So, what can you expect then with Sifu? Well, a really, really fun and addictive game, I have to say. And the gameplay that you're going to see here is not really giving you any spoilers. I'm showing you a little bit of gameplay from the first 2 levels because I don't want to ruin some of the later levels. So there's very little here that's going to ruin the game for you here. It's just mainly essentially to show you what's going on in the game and how cool the combat looks, things like that, and a couple of cutscenes here and there. But ultimately, if you like, well, I was about to say if you like beat-em-ups, but I don't really like beat-em-ups myself. But I absolutely love this game. I found it so addictive, but yes, I've also found it frustrating. But in a way that hasn't really got on my nerves and made me kind of throw the controller across the room. Not that I really do that anymore with games, but I used to when I was younger. But the idea here with this game is it's an easy game to play, but it's a difficult game to master. Because, as I'm sure you've heard in regards to this game, there is a really fun and interesting game mechanic here that every time you die in this game, you can basically come back alive with the thanks of like this magical artifact that you've got. So the first time you die, you'll come back and you've aged a year. If you die again the next time, it will go up in a sense of you will die and you'll come back older each time, right up until you get to the age of 70. Once you get past the age of 17, you die again, it's game over. Now what you can do here as well, interestingly, in this game is the 5 levels. For example, on the first level, if I complete the first level and beat the boss at the end of the first level, and I managed to do it, and I've only died a couple of times, so I'm like age 26 or something like that. That will then save. That's your best score for that level, age 26. So you'll go on to the next level, which is the club level, And you'll start that at age 26, and you've got to try and get through that level before you get to like 70 plus and game over. Easier said than done, believe me, guys, because your first few playthroughs of this, you're going to struggle to get to the end of both of all the levels. Certainly the first 2 or 3 levels, but each time you go back to each level, you are slightly better. Because A, you are picking up the mechanics of the game, and you're getting better and better each time at the countering, the parrying, the countering, the dodging, all that kind of stuff. But also as well, you can level up as you play through the games. You'll find like these jade statues that you can level up your moveset on. Now you can temporarily unlock some moves, and you unlock them with experience points. But once you've unlocked them, they are not permanently unlocked. So if you die and you have to restart a level, you will not have them moves unlocked. The only way to permanently unlock them is to continually add experience into those moves. And once you've permanently unlocked them, they're in your arsenal all the time. So do you see what I mean? Each time there's a new layer added, and each time you go back to a level, you're slightly stronger, you're slightly better. And also every time you die, when you come back older, you'll come back slightly stronger and slightly better, and the idea is that you'll come back more experienced, so you'll know, you'll have a little bit more impact on your moves. But also, the older you get, your health bar goes down ever so slightly, because the idea again is you're a little bit more frail. So there's weaknesses and benefits to getting older as you go through the game. Now, I have to say, guys, I'm not kidding here. The gameplay loop here is massively addictive, and the combat is so smooth. It is just so fun to play. It's not complex in how you play. You've got a light attack and a heavy attack. A bit like the Sleeping Dogs game, only far more complex in the sense of the layers that it adds to it. So you've got your heavy attack, your light attack. And then you've got like focus moves, so you press the left 2 and it'll bring up like a focus move. Then those you can unlock more of them as you add experience to different focus moves. You can pick up all manner of weapons, be it baseball bats, bottles, you name it. Anything that's in the environment you can pick up. You can use it as a weapon against the enemies, but vice versa, so can they. There's a nice wide variety of enemies that are coming at you. Some of them will give you far more to think about. And if you stun them with your parry and your dodge, and then you hit them with like a good move, you will like stun them, and then you could do like a finishing move on them, as you can see here. And each time you take somebody down using like one of these finishing moves, essentially it'll put a little bit more on your health bar, which is crucial. Because you want to die as little as possible. But as soon as you die, you will come back exactly where you were. You're just slightly older than you were last time. Sometimes by 1 year, sometimes 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so on and so forth, depending on how often you die. Some enemies that you kill, it will take your death counter down. So if your death counter was at 4, which means you're going to age 4 years if you die, some enemies that you kill, it'll drop it down to 3. And if you don't die and you kill another enemy that gives you one of those, it'll drop it down to 2. So there's lots of bonuses for killing some enemies. But like I say, that is easier said than done, because some of these enemies are really tough and will really, really give you a hard time while you're playing this game. The biggest misstep with this game I can give, and it's the most frustrating thing, is the camera angles. They're not the best. Sometimes they cause you to get hit when you don't want to get hit, and because you can't see who's there or who's near you because of some of the camera angles. But generally speaking, the majority of the times when you die or when you make a mistake, the mistakes are all your own, because it's down to skill, if you like, rather than the game duping you. So I have to say, guys, that I'm massively impressed with this game. It doesn't seem like there's much to do here, but the addictiveness of it and the times you'll want to keep playing the levels to get better at the levels, it's just, for me, there's so much. I mean, you'll probably get through the first 5 levels between 10 and 12 hours, maybe a little bit more, depending on your skill level and how quickly you master the game. But then the real trick here is to get through these levels and finish the game as young as possible, if you like. And that is easier said than done. It's a really good game, guys. It is everything I hoped it would be. I don't necessarily think it's for everyone. I do think if you do get frustrated easily and you don't have an awful lot of patience, maybe it's not for you. But it's not actually as hard as I thought it was going to be. It's yes, it's a difficult game to master, but it's not a difficult game to play, if that makes sense, because the gameplay is loads and loads of fun. So definitely a very, very strong 9 out of 10 from me, guys. I'm having a really, really good time with this game, and I do strongly recommend you pick this one up as well. It's not a full price game in the UK. I think I paid around $34.99 for it, which for me I think is a steal for this game, for the amount of gameplay that you're going to get out of it and the amount of fun. So I hope you enjoyed this review, guys. Of course, I will be back with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.